guys are here on time.
Here, Tina. Here.
All right, good job. Okay, so for those of you that don't know me, I'm Miss Julie or Mrs. Riley. This is Dave, Chef Dave. He's a real chef.
Hey
He
guys.
went to school for this, so he's very trained. He's also my husband. So we're stuck in the house together. May as well do it together, right?
Well, I'm trained, but she's an 8th-degree black belt in culinary arts.
All right. And the name of my company is Chefs of Deep Future, a cooking school that comes to you. I put my email address up in the chat room. So if you want to join my email list, just type in your email address and I will, or send me an email with your email address. This way it's not public to everybody.
Right.
And I'll be happy to put you on my list because I do other shows outside of the library. So Saturday we're doing Thrill of the Grill in our backyard, which is going to be great. So then you could know what's coming up. So today we are going to make chocolate chip cookies.
Cookie.
Yeah, Cookie Monster doesn't eat only cookies now. I don't know. When I was a kid, Cookie Monster wasn't even alive yet. Anyway. But he only ate cookies. Now he has to eat vegetables.
And
Only eat vegetables.
Yeah,
Okay, I
okay.
got a couple of nods. Okay.
All right, for today's class, we're eating cookies.
Okay.
All right.
And we're going to make some nice homemade lemonade. So the first thing we want to do for lemonade, so we're going to go back and forth between the two recipes. That's how we manage our time to make everything in 1 hour. So the first thing we have to do is make our simple syrup for our lemonade. Simple syrup is just sugar and water, and we put it on the stove. We bring it up, not even to a boil. The sugar just melts, and then we have to cool it down. So that's why we have to do that first, so that we can put it in the refrigerator to chill. Otherwise, when we put the ice in our lemonade, it's all going to melt. So this is very, very simple, and you're going to need your parents to put it on the stove for you. But what we're going to do,
How many parts of sugar to water do you do?
it's gonna be equal parts of sugar and water. This is a dry measuring cup. So when we use a dry measuring cup, we scoop the product in, the flour or the sugar, and then we take the flat edge of the spoon and we level it off. That is 1 level cup of flour. Sugar.
Sorry.
Thank you.
We work
I
with flour and
always say
sugar all the time.
one level cup of sugar. So you can see me in 2 different screens. This is the big screen, and sometimes I'll go like that to the small screen. We're going to put that in our pot, and then you're going to measure out 1 cup of water. And this cup is a liquid measuring cup. See? Because things could pour out of it. So you just pour 1 cup of water and 1 cup of sugar into the pot, and then we're going to just put it on, I guess we could put it on medium-high.
Yeah, no, just medium heat is good.
Yeah.
Because you really don't want to boil it. You just want to dissolve the sugar until it disappears.
So right now it looks like it's white in the pot, right?
It looks a
We're
little
stirring
sandy.
it and it's white.
Looks like water and sand
Yeah,
at
it
the
looks
beach.
like
kind of.
gritty, yeah. Oh, I'm dreaming of that beach when they open up the beaches.
You're not alone.
Dreaming about it. Actually, Jones Beach is opening this weekend, but I wouldn't go. Jones Beach is going to have everyone from everywhere because it's a state beach. But I think our Nassau County beaches are opening, and even better, our town of Hempstead beaches are opening.
Yeah.
Point Lookout.
Point Lookout,
My
yep.
favorite is Lido West. Beach is not that long.
So now as you stir this simple syrup, it doesn't take long. The sugar starts dissolving, but you really want the heat to take a hold of it so it melts, because you want no gritty sandy texture.
Waiting for a pot to boil or heat up.
What can we do in the meantime,
All right,
Mrs.
in
Riley?
the meantime, we're going to get our bowl ready for our couple of bowls. So we're going to...
How many bowls do we need?
you're gonna need the bowl that you're mixing in, which should be, if you have a KitchenAid, or a big bowl if you have a hand mixer. Because believe it or not, I think I put that in the directions. These cookies, they're called thick and chewy. They're not like other recipes. And the difference is that we're going to use a mixer with them. That's what's going to make them thick and chewy. I got the recipe from a book that was called Got Milk. So when you get back in the library, look for that book. It's called Got Milk.
All right.
The
Well,
best cookie recipe. But you have this recipe.
you want to take a look at that? We're looking pretty good.
Yeah. So it is has a little white still.
A little cloudy.
Maybe another minute on the stove. So you're going to need one bowl for your sugar, and then you're going to need another bowl for your flour.
Which one should be bigger?
The one for the sugar is the one that gets attached to the KitchenAid, or the one that we're mixing in, so that's the bigger one.
Good question.
Good question.
All right, we're starting to look like water,
Right.
so that's where we want to be.
And I see that it just started steaming. I don't know if you could see it from,
Yeah, let's pick it up and show them
Here.
over there.
you got the fan going. Can you see the steam? No, because we have a fan on in here. It's dissipating it. But it's just clear again. So now Mr. Riley or your parents can put that into the refrigerator. We're going to use like a pint container, a quart container.
Do we shut the stove off as soon as?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Shut the stove and transfer the liquid into another container.
Because you're going to refrigerate it.
You want to put it in the refrigerator, or if you have room in the freezer, that'll chill it faster.
Even better if you have room in the freezer.
Okay, so that's the first step for that. Now we're going to make the cookie dough.
Now we can forget about that for a little while.
Okay, so as I said, in your larger bowl, the one that is for your stand mixer, we're going to start. So let's take that recipe out. If you have it, get your recipe so you could read along with it. Now I'm going to double the recipe. I always like to make twice the amount of cookie dough because you could freeze it. So it says,
Excuse me?
yes, that's
Will you
it.
spell it to time, Peter?
Yes, that's it. So the first thing we're going to do actually is we're going to put our bowl on or hook up our mixer. Okay, and we're going to use the whisk. Okay, we're going to use the whisk. Sounds a little crazy for cookies, because that's not the way I learned how to make cookies. And we're going to put a half a cup of unsalted butter. So that's 1 stick of butter. All right?
Show them stick.
Yeah. No, that's all right, because I'm doubling.
Okay.
So you're going to put 1 stick of butter in. You could cut it up ahead of time or cut it when it's in the bowl.
But the best is to have it at room temperature before you start your recipe.
But if we didn't and we're using hand mixers, I think it'll be...
It'll still work, but it just makes it easier if it's at room temp.
All right, and we're going to mix that first. No, just the butter. You want to whisk the butter up first until it's soft and creamy. So Mr. Riley keeps making it go high and then going lower and making it go high. And then what's going to happen is the butter's going to start to kind of stick to the side of the bowl.
Which it's doing right now. So
And you could scrape it down.
lower the bowl, and what we call scrape the walls of the bowl. Push the butter back down to the middle. This way your whip can grab it and keep making it soft and keep whipping it around and all that fun stuff.
Can you get closer?
Yes.
Excellent.
How about right on the board?
Sure.
Much better.
Okay, now you can see what we're doing.
Okay.
All right, and then we're going to whisk it a little more. And this time we're going to go higher, right?
Yep.
Beautiful. So if you're using your mixer, just go round and round and make it nice and...
It's almost going to look like frosting when it's ready. Like cupcake frosting.
Yum. You know, that's how you do make frosting.
There you go.
Buttercream frosting.
There's a reason. We're almost there.
Nice. And I see they're working nicely. What happens is the butter starts pulling off the side as the whisks are going around.
What do you think? You want more or
I think that looks good.
I think
Let's show
so.
everybody what it looks like.
here?
Okay. There we go.
Okay. So basically, like we said before, it's going to look like thick frosting for a cupcake. I don't know if you can see that because of the glare. There you go. Mrs. Riley's going to show. That's it.
It's nice and soft. Okay. Excellent.
You want to use that same spatula to scrape off the excess butter that's on a whip because it collects on the bottom. See that?
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. If it was already room temperature, it doesn't need much whipping at all, just so that it's all mixed together.
Okay.
All right.
Like with the whip.
Nice.
Get all that butter in there.
Okay. Now, if you have a stand mixer, we're going to put our guard on. If you don't have a stand mixer, don't worry about it. This guard makes it so that when you put the dry ingredients in, it doesn't poof up all over the place.
You don't have flour or sugar all over the dog, all over the walls, all over the ceiling.
All right. So now it says 3/4 of a cup of sugar. So you're going to put the mixer on. And I'm doing double. So 3/4 of a cup. Again, if you have a 1/2 cup and a 1/4 cup, if you don't have the 3/4. In the bowl with the butter and mix. Alrighty. And then let me show them how to measure the brown sugar. Okay, so to measure brown sugar, you see it says 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar. It should say lightly packed, even though up top it doesn't, maybe down here, butter, sugar. Right, so for brown sugar, you're going to scoop it in to the cup. Well, you're going to 3/4 of a cup, so a 1/2 cup. And then you push down on the brown sugar, like this.
What do they call that?
It's called packing the brown sugar. And you see when you pack it down, there's more room for more sugar. So then you have to put a little bit more in.
How much brown sugar do we need?
You need 3/4 of a cup.
So anytime you come across a recipe that calls for a cup or whatever of packed brown sugar, that's what they're talking about.
Any other time you're measuring dry ingredients, You don't want to pack it down with that. See, that just changed the mass of our sugar. There's more sugar in here when you pack it down.
Mm.
So that's the half, and then we're going to do the quarter to make it 3/4. So see, that's heaping right now when I pack it down. And you want it always to be level. So add enough to make it level. And then we'll turn the mixer back on and mix that. So
Everybody,
it's nice and fluffy.
everybody on the same page. We're all ready to go on the mixer again. Here we go.
Now notice I'm cleaning up as I go. So in between, make sure you clean up because there's nothing worse than having to clean the kitchen after. Now,
I'm going to scrape down like we said before, just to make sure.
and this is going to start out very, very grainy. It's going to look like sand at the beach.
Looks like you dropped your frosted cupcake on the sand. That's what.
But this needs a lot of mixing. So, some recipes, it makes a difference how you add your ingredients.
Absolutely.
This is not a dump recipe. A dump recipe is when you just take all the ingredients, dump it in a bowl, and mix it together. This one, we're doing them in this order for a reason. Because this is where science comes in. A chemical reaction happens. So the butter and the sugar are binding together right now. And you have to mix it a lot.
What would you say, like time-wise, roughly?
I would say about a minute and a half to 2 minutes.
Sounds about right to me.
And as it mixes and mixes, it looks like it's getting to be less in the bowl instead of more. Because the butter and the sugar are binding.
It's called creaming the sugar,
Cream,
creaming the butter, and
yeah,
sugar.
creaming the butter and the sugar. You can cream your butter, and then you cream your butter and sugar together. I don't think the new recipes, they don't really use that terminology anymore.
Yeah, that's old school, but
Old school French
Yep.
cooking.
Classic.
Trained classically, so the words change. They change it so everyday people. And then you'll see it'll start to stick together and kind of move around more like one.
giant blob.
Yeah, it's coming together like moving around like one blob. Alright, that looks good. Yeah. So again, we're going to scrape down. I want to show you what it looks like too. So this is what it looks like when you smush it around. It smears like that, see? So you know it's all together. It's actually lighter in color.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Did you put the flour already?
No,
No, not yet.
not yet.
Should just have the butter, the white sugar, and the brown sugar at this point.
Alrighty. And then, okay. Now
Stick
the
with
next thing we're going to do is, one at a time,
Oh,
we're going to crack our eggs and put them in. Alright? So, we have, get a small container or container that you already used, maybe. So when you crack your egg, you hold it like this. You're going to tap it in the center here against your cup. You're going to listen for it to crack if you don't know how to do one. Mine cracked. Then you turn it upwards, put your fingers in the gooey part, turn it upside down, and pull it apart. So that's one. So you're going to do them one at a time. So we're going to start the mixer again.
That method, that's so you can avoid getting shells, right?
Right. So there's two reasons why you crack it into a separate container and not straight into your recipe. One, you don't want shells in your recipe. Two, if the egg was rotten, you don't ruin your batter, okay? So if this was a bad egg and we put it in there, we just wasted all that butter and all that sugar. So we're going to turn on our... You have to pull it up a little.
I think the stand has to go on.
All right. And one at a time, you're going to add your eggs. So you're going to add, the recipe calls for 2 eggs. Remember, I'm doing a double recipe, so I'm using more eggs. And then this is going to bind the sugar and the flour even more. And you can put it up to medium high. It's going to go around. This is really going to look like frosting. And then we're going to add our vanilla also. So this recipe, it does say 2 tablespoons. That is not a mistake. And then you might have to scrape down after the vanilla. And you do want to mix this for about a minute.
Make that noise?
It doesn't usually make that noise.
Well, that's not a good sign, but we'll see what happens.
When do you what?
When do we have to preheat the oven?
Oh yeah, let's put the oven on now. Good question.
Wait, how much vanilla?
A tablespoon.
Okay, thank you.
Was
Well-
it 1 or? Yeah, a tablespoon.
You said 2.
No,
All right, don't worry about it. if
that's
you did.
okay.
I put in 2 also in mine. It's gonna be good. Let me see. I'll taste. Yummy. Very good. So you're gonna put your oven on 350 right now, okay? And make sure your racks are in the right place.
Flour time.
All right.
Let's
Is
find out
everyone's
what it's
butter
called.
ready? Look, you want to show it to them?
Yep.
You want to do that?
Yep.
Okay. Mr. Riley's coming around to show you.
Sorry.
Your butter should really look like, it should really look like frosting now. Nice creamy frosting, yum.
Yum.
Cookie. Okay. Well, you guys with the flax seeds, it's not going to be as creamy.
Huh?
Wait, the ones with the flax seeds instead of the egg, it's not going to be as creamy.
We're staying with the whip, ready for flour?
So the next thing we want to do,
Oh, it's not attached yet.
okay.
Fix that for you?
All right, yeah. Next thing we're going to measure out our flour. The flour we're going to measure into a separate bowl. So how much flour do we need? 2 1/4 cups of flour. Remember, it's not going in the mixing bowl yet. So I'm doubling my recipe. How much is 2 1/4 and 2 1/4? Go ahead, Regina.
4 and wait, no, 5.
You were right in the right. 4 and 2 plus 2 is 4, and 1/4 plus 1/4
Half.
is a half. 4 1/2. That is correct. But you are doing 2 1/4. All right. Now my question is to all of you: did you find unsalted butter or salted butter? If you have unsalted butter, you're going to go ahead and into the flour, you're going to put that 1/2 teaspoon of salt.
Only if you used unsalted
Only
butter.
if you use unsalted. If you use salted butter, you might want to put maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon.
Excuse me, how much vanilla extract was it?
How much vanilla? A tablespoon.
Okay, question time.
Yes.
Why do we need salt for something that's so sweet?
Do you know what salt does? We made hot cocoa at the library. You know why? Catherine, why?
It enhances the flavor.
Nice.
Exactly.
Wow, you got some smart students here. Nice.
Nice. All right. Enhances the flavor. That's like when we made hot chocolate that time, right? It enhances the flavor. So now we're going to put into the flour mixture baking soda. Does anyone know what baking soda does in a recipe? I'll give it to Allison. Do you know? Someone down here. Spina.
Rice.
It what?
Melted rice.
Yes, exactly. All right. So I have my flour, the salt, and the baking soda. I'm just going to give it a tiny little mix. And we're going to turn our mixer back on. And we're going to start adding the flour slowly. Okay. And the mixer should be on medium to medium low. So you could,
Sorry, how much salt again?
with unsalted butter, it's a 1/2 of a teaspoon. If you have salted butter, I would use like 1/8 of a teaspoon. Okay. So you put it in, you let it mix in. And once you see that it's mixed in, you just do another scoop. And we're going to keep going like that. We're going to put it like 3/4 of the flour in there.
Salted or unsalted butter in the flour mixture or in the...
We're adding the flour into the butter mixture. Where the butter and the eggs are that we mixed up. Right? You were mixing the butter before, right? Okay, now you're gonna start to add the flour into the butter.
Is it okay if you're using a hand mixer?
Yeah.
To mix
Yep.
directions?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So I have about 3/4 of the flour in there.
Scrape down.
And now we're going to scrape it down. And we're actually going to
Switch.
do the last little part manually. So let's, alright, we don't need the mixer.
Great.
Great. So I want to get all of this off. In my house, I just use my 2 fingers. Oh, did we wash our hands? Oh my gosh, I forgot to tell you that, right? You all knew that, right? Because we always wash our hands in the library. And I'm going to scrape this down. You had. That's what my grandmother taught me. Because when it gets in the oven and it gets baked, all the germs are going to bake out anyway. So, now we look like, it looks like batter, almost cookie dough.
Looks like we got something there.
Scrape down the sides, and then we're going to add the rest of the flour. Alrighty then, let me take this. So we're going to mix in this flour, and now it's going to start to really look like cookie dough. Smell that vanilla. So there it is. It's cookie dough now. It's kind of sticking to the spatula. Big chunks, right? Now we're going to add our chips. So this is where, we have to talk about when you make mistakes with recipes, right? Not even to worry about it. So I used to make this recipe with my classes in summer camp, and I don't know, I thought I doubled the recipe. I didn't. And the kids ended up putting in 2 cups of chips, and then we liked it. So I kept the recipe like that. And did you know that chocolate chip cookies were invented by mistake? So never feel bad if something goes a little wrong with your recipe. We always learn from everything that we do. So what happened was the baker bought the wrong chocolate. Thought that they were making chocolate cookies, and when they baked the cookies, the chocolate didn't melt into the dough. It stayed like the morsels did, and that's how chocolate chip cookies were invented, by mistake. Thank God they made that mistake.
Thank goodness.
I don't know what we would do without chocolate chip cookies in the world.
That applies to so many cooking recipes, it's not even funny. Somebody takes a recipe that's been around for a while, and they make a mistake while they're producing it, and it winds up coming out better.
Okay. So we have our dough, and I'm going to show you a couple of things with this dough.
Actually, last night, my daughter wanted brownies. She was having a brownie craving. And we had some graham crackers left. And the other night, her and her friends were in the backyard making s'mores. So I said, you know what? I'll take the brownies. I'll put some layer of graham crackers and marshmallow in it and drop some fudge in at the end. She loved it. They're gone.
All right. So here we go. All right. Now, we're going to make chocolate chip cookies, but I'm going to show you something. If a special event is coming up, you could make one big chocolate chip cookie for a cake. All right, so we're going to do both. And you can make your cookies.
Spatula?
No, my scoop. Alrighty. No, it was. Oh, here it is. I knew it was here. So this is kind of a big scoop.
Not for cookies, no.
You can make cookies any size you like. I know some people like small cookies. Some people like bigger cookies. So if you're using a scoop, here's a good tip when you're scooping out this. Like this is the same size scoop I use for cupcakes also. So that's a lot. So I go down in the bowl and I scrape it up the edge. See how the back of my scoop is still clean? And then I put it on the tray. They need to be at least 3 or 4 inches apart. So every time I go in, I just scoop it up. And there it goes. All right, so we could fill the tray like that, but I'm going to show you.
How to make a giant cookie, a Dave-sized cookie.
Ooh, I'm going to first spray this stuff.
Yeah, non-stick.
I think I'm going to spray my pan. If you're using, if you're using a non-stick pan cookie sheet, then,
Which is this?
that, you can give it a little spritz with spray or butter. I use parchment paper, so I don't use spray on my parchment paper. So now I'm going to do scoops of this onto this tray here.
How long do we have to cook them for?
It depends how big you made them. If you made small cookies, it's going to be like 10, 15 minutes. If you made bigger cookies, it's going to be like 20 minutes. And if you're making one big giant cookie like me, it's like a half an hour. Half an hour to 40 minutes, because it's just like a big cake. So you see how I put it in the middle of the pan? Like that. I'm going to do one more scoop here.
And then I'll finish the rest for
You
you.
can finish that, and I'm going to take,
Excuse me?
yes.
Have you put the oven on?
Oh yeah, we did put the oven on before. It's 350.
Which rack?
The close to the center,
Middle rack is good,
middle
yes.
rack, but you might have 2 trays. So in the at most center of the oven as possible. So when I use this tray that doesn't have a lip on it, I spread the cookie out. But it doesn't go all the way to the edges. Because the cookie is going to spread as it cooks. So I left this space. And that's one big cookie. Alrighty.
That's a
Wait-
bigger cookie.
Wait till your oven is preheated before you put them in. Don't put them in unless it's 350. So. That's a Cookie Monster cookie. Alright, so those are going in. Alright, then we're going to straighten up a little bit after we have the cookies in.
And before we straighten up, you want to show
Oh,
what we do
right.
extra batter we have left over.
So-
That's why we don't want to have all these cookies in one night, because we may double the recipe. We can save it. We'll show you how.
Alright, so I made 2 batches, and I highly recommend making 2 or 3 batches of cookies at one time. Because then all you have to do is spread some nice plastic wrap out. And we're going to put the cookies right up the middle.
Can I roll that up? when you're
Sure.
done? Thank you so much.
Down the center. One more. Make it into a nice log.
Now, while I'm rolling this, maybe you can explain to them the myths and the facts about raw cookie dough being eaten
Oh,
and
yes,
all that fun
yes.
stuff.
All right, so everyone says, oh, don't eat raw cookie dough because of the eggs. Well, it's true. You could get sick and get salmonella from eggs. If they're very fresh eggs, you don't really have to worry about that too much. But you really don't want to eat raw eggs. I mean, I did when I was a kid. I'm still here. I'm still alive. But maybe I might have gotten a bellyache one time and not knowing what it was from, and it was from eating raw cookie dough.
Well, the thing is, yeah, I agree with you 100%. You just don't want to leave your cookie dough raw like this out of room temperature for like 3 or 4 hours or a whole afternoon, and then come home and start eating it. That's going to cause a problem. That could cause a problem.
If you wanted to make ice cream with cookie dough in it, you're saying, well, how come they make ice cream with cookie dough in it? How come I could eat that? Because they use eggs that are in a container that have been pasteurized, and those eggs
And that's
you
it.
won't get sick from. So that this log,
Here you go.
we're going to take this log and we're going to put this in the refrigerator or the freezer. And just like those ones you buy, the Pillsbury or the Tall House ones, you have it in your freezer. And one day you come home from the playground, from the beach or whatever, and you're like, oh, I really wish I wanted to make cookies. You just pull it out, slice it, put it on your tray. You have homemade cookies. So remember, when you make cookies, make at least 3 batches of it. One to eat now, one to eat later, and one to eat way in the future.
Because there never seems to be enough if you make one batch.
And do you have a spatula to get all that goodness
Yep,
out?
here. Here you go. If you help me
All
with
right. And this is the spatula. My kids hate the spatula because the spatula scrapes the bowl clean and there's nothing to lick. I know, right? That's why my kids hate the spatula, because there's nothing to lick when I get done with it. All right.
All right.
All right, so Mr. Riley's going to wrap that. I'm going to Yes. I do not have them yet. I just started learning a little bit about baking with gluten-free, so they're all, like, you could get brown rice flour
Mm-hmm.
and some other flours that I bought. I think you have to use brown rice flour and malted flour or something like that, and those don't have gluten in them.
They're a good combination to work with.
I'm not sure about the malted. I have the malted flour up there, so I'm just starting to learn about that, about the gluten-free. Now we're gonna. Any questions?
Do we flatten the cookies?
No, don't flatten them. Oh, here's the other thing, because this recipe is called thick and chewy chocolate chip cookies. Now, everyone likes their chocolate chip cookies a different way. The secret to making thick and chewy chocolate chip cookies, say that 10 times,
Thick and chewy, thick and chewy, thick
is
and chewy.
that we just put the scoop on, right? So it'll flatten out when we cook them and then rise, and the center's gonna stay nice and soft. The second thing is not to overcook them. Everyone thinks that chocolate chip cookies, when they come out, have to look like Chips
Brown,
Ahoy's, right?
yeah.
Chips Ahoy's are brown all the way across. Our cookies are not gonna look like that. They're gonna be lighter and just so chewy. That's it. All right, now we're gonna make. Are you guys done? I'll wait for you. We're gonna get our lemons ready.
1 second, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Finish up. We're taking our time, right? This is why we do this like this.
You want me to cut some of that basil for you while you squeeze the lemons?
Sure.
Take a look.
Take those with the centers too. I think. Garnish.
Got the bugs.
I am gonna try to. I'm gonna start to do this now. Now we're making lemonade. You could make orangeade or limeade. Let me know when you have all your cookies in the oven.
I have a question.
Sure.
Could orange used to called orangeade?
Yes, you do make. If we use this recipe with oranges, it would be orangeade.
Oh wow.
You can even do it with pineapple juice too.
Ooh, pineapple aid?
Pineapple
Never
aid.
did that. That would be very sweet. Because pineapples are really sweet. You know that expression, when life gives you lemons? What do?
Lemonade.
You make lemonade. So life is kind of giving us lemons right now. And we're smiling and we're making lemonade.
Making cookies and lemonade.
Cookies and lemonade. Found out new things, right? Just brings us to new places, and they're exciting places. Might not be the happiest, but it's still exciting, and we have to find happiness in everything we do. Because that is how you survive.
And thrive.
All right? And thrive. Thrive, that's a good word. Thrive. I could have cried when this all happened because all of a sudden I had no business. I couldn't see any of my students. I tried doing another job, and then a librarian whispered in my ear and said, "Julie, do you want to come do virtual programs?"
Aha.
And I said, "Wow, okay." So there I was, and I have to learn all these new things, this technology stuff, which you kids could probably do better than me right now. But I had to learn Zoom, and I had to learn how to send out emails on my constant contact. I had to learn how to set up events. My head is going, whoa. So you're not the only ones still learning. I think the whole world is learning all new things now. How you all doing? Are your cookies in yet? If your cookies are in, you can start taking your lemons and rolling them like this on the counter or a cutting board. We're making them soft so that when we squeeze them, the juice comes out better. That's why you roll them. And I'm going to need, this is the one I'm going to need. And you could even, I'm going to just, excuse me, I'm going to wash my hands. Wash your hands in between. I'm going to use my lemon squeezer. If you have one, that's good. If you don't, I'll show you what to do. Squeeze more. With the lemon squeezer, I squeeze one, then I squeeze the second one, and then I take the first one, I put it back in, squeeze it again,
Double shot.
so more comes out. Now, if you don't have a lemon squeezer,
Excuse me.
yes,
Can you use lemon juice?
yes.
Oh, goody.
If you don't have a lemon squeezer, I cut my lemon in half, and I put my fork in here, and I squeeze it, and make the fork go back and forth. And then I keep kind of turning it until I get no more juice out of it. Be careful if you have a cut on your hands,
You'll find out right away
because
with
that
lemon
lemon
juice.
will sting. Well, I'm gonna do all of them. I think.
Oh,
I'm gonna
okay.
make the whole picture.
Because we only.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
So here is making lemonade. There's a ratio, and with cooking too and baking, so sometimes it's a ratio of ingredients together. So you're going to take 1 part of lemon juice and 1 part of the simple syrup. Now that simple syrup we made is enough to make, I think, 3 quarts of at least 3/4 to
Oh,
a
yeah.
gallon of lemonade. So if you don't want to use it all, you don't have to. So once you get your cookies in, start squeezing your lemons.
Is it okay if the seeds go in?
Yeah, we could strain it
Maybe to
afterwards.
strain it, no problem.
Actually, can you
1/4?
see how much is in there? Like,
Thank you. Oh, it came out good. It's like crystal clear. Wow, it's just a little above 8 ounces. I'd say it's like 9 ounces. Do you want this back or?
no, I'm gonna pour it into here. So my simple syrup came out to 9 ounces. So I'm gonna make sure I have a cup of lemon juice.
Okay, so, are we just squeezing all the lemons and then adding the simple syrup?
Yeah, you're gonna squeeze your lemons. You should kind of be doing it so that we can measure it. When you get to about a cup, we need about a cup of lemons.
Okay.
Make sure you get yourself a strainer, some kind of a strainer you can strain the seeds through.
Right. And if you didn't have that many lemons, don't worry about it. I'll go over it with you, how much to use if you don't have.
We can adjust it easily.
As I was just saying, this is where the math comes in, where the ratios, 1 part to 8 parts. So it's 1 part lemon to 1 part simple syrup to 8 parts of water. That's the
Okay.
Basic ratio. And then we adjust it to what we like. Some people don't like it as sweet. Some people don't like it as tart. Okay, so we used a good 6 or 7.
Yep.
And I have a little bit over a cup. So, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna use this measuring cup. Oh, and you know what I'll do? I'll take that. Oh, you already put it in there. Okay. I'll squeeze it. I use that as a strainer.
Oh, good idea.
Yeah,
Think
it's
of that.
good.
Okay.
So here it is.
Wow, it's almost the exact amount of simple syrup ratio.
Yeah.
It is 9 ounces.
Actually, that's what I'm gonna do. So I have, this is a 2 cup measuring cup. So I'm gonna put 1 cup of the lemon juice. See, I like the pulp. I'm gonna need this cup again. And I strained it. Yes?
How much lemons are we supposed to put in the
1 cup. Can you measure 1 cup? You want to make a lot of lemon? You want to make a lot of lemonade? You're gonna use 1 cup.
No, this is the bottle of the concentrate.
Yeah. So do you? It's the same. You want to make a lot of lemonade or? I try a half a cup. And then you're gonna put equal parts of the simple syrup. This I'm gonna hold in case for adjusting. And I should have. Okay. Okay, so that's 1 to 1. So 1 cup lemon juice, 1 cup simple syrup. We can pour pour it into our pitcher. And now, 1 to 1 to 8. So I need 8 parts of water. So if you're using a half a cup of water, a half a cup of lemon juice, and a half a cup of simple syrup, then you need half and half, and 8. 8 halves is 4 cups of water.
I finished my first.
Oh, they came out already. All right, everyone check your cookies.
They look good.
They look
Nice job.
delicious. Everyone's ovens also bake at a different rate. If you have an electric ovens tend to bake quicker than gas ovens. And if you have a convection oven, that bakes faster. So back to the lemonade. The girl that is using a half a cup of lemon, a half a cup of simple syrup, to half, 4. So a half times 8. It's 4 cups of water. If you're using a whole cup of lemon juice to a whole cup of simple syrup, we're going to use 8 cups of water. So I need about some more water in there. I need
2 cups.
3 cups.
Coming up. 3 cups.
All right.
Got it?
Now I'm gonna just reserve a little on the other side. So I'm gonna put this in here.
Okay.
And I'm gonna give it a quick stir. And at this point we want to taste it.
Make sure it's not too sour, not too bitter, not too sweet. And that's to your own personal tasting. Your own personal taste.
Oh my goodness, that is good. For me, that is perfect. I might add a little more lemon to mine because I like mine a little tartar. But that's just me.
Excuse me, chefs?
Yes.
In India, we make a similar drink, except we add a little bit of salt
Oh,
to it.
and that probably just enhances the flavor.
It enhances the flavor, and also the reason it's because it's so hot, in addition to the liver and salt,
Right.
will let it just cools it down better.
Oh, that makes
Oh.
sense. That makes perfect sense.
Nice.
Nice tip.
And you can add mint to it.
Yes, that was the other thing we were just gonna say. We just chopped up a little bit of basil.
Basil's
I
very nice.
couldn't find mint. I couldn't find mint, but we're gonna put a little basil in ours.
And we're going to puree some strawberries.
Yeah, so let's, if you bought strawberries, if you have strawberries or blueberries.
Or if you put seltzer, then it'll be like orangina or lemongina.
Right, a little salsa.
Which I love. Orangina, I love it.
Yeah, let's just use that.
Put it in a bullet, a blender, it doesn't matter. You can use either or.
And let's
What
get
about
some.
the strawberries?
So we just blended them in our bullet or in a blender. I put a little bit of the leftover simple syrup. After your lemonade is the right flavor, you could add the extra simple syrup to the strawberries, or you could put lemon juice in there or water.
Let's feature everything.
And then we need some nice ice.
Okay.
This, clean up. And check your cookies.
put them out on the table when they're done too.
Ooh, perfect.
Good timing.
These. The big one's not done yet. And wow. Yes, honey.
How do you know when your chocolate chip cookies ready?
All right, I'm going to show you what mine look like. Mine are very pale. They're not very dark. They're very pale. And this is hot, but they're still soft in the middle. All right.
Cookie platter can go on.
Now, oh, we'll make a platter?
Yep. Well, no, when it comes out of the oven.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the drinks. Don't forget your basil.
Yeah. Okay. So, this is just the basic lemonade. And I'm going to put some basil in it.
Or mint, whatever you have.
Basil or mint. The flavor is fabulous. I love basil.
By the way, basil goes really well with strawberries. A lot of people don't realize that.
And
Yeah, I always see strawberries, balsamic vinegar, and basil.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a great combination.
beautiful palette, flavor palette. And this, I'm just going to pour at the same time. Right? You go to Starbucks, right? How much do you pay for one of those strawberry lemonades? And there it is.
And I dare say ours is better.
Definitely. Sprinkle some of that on top. And we can garnish it. Garnish this one with a little basil. And then we're going to take a little lemon.
And that cookie should be close, right?
The cookie's pretty close. I just checked it.
Okay.
It does, the big cookie does take a lot longer to.
Wait, excuse me, are these cookies supposed to be golden brown?
Not too dark. They have to be, they could be very light in the middle.
Okay.
All right. And now let's take out the cookie.
Right here.
Beautiful. Let's see. Oh my. There it is, a big cookie.
Cookie!
Yeah, it's not done yet. Okay. I think it needs 10 more minutes. But just so you get the idea, that's the big cookie. You let it cool, and you can decorate it for someone's birthday. Okay. And
Excuse me.
yes. Ooh, great. Take pictures.
Nice. Very nice.
Send them to Kristen. Miss Kristen, send them to me. I put my email up. Again, if you want to be on my email list
Good job.
to find out what we're doing. Cheers. You want strawberry or
Yes.
this?
Strawberry.
Good job,
Cheers.
Mr. Riley.
Good job, you guys.
Guys, send them to the email that I used to remind you, and I'll make sure they go on our Instagram and everything, okay?
Thank you.
Nice. Thank you. So spread the word so we could do more, okay? I'd love to come back. I miss you all.
Thanks, guys. Have fun.
Bye. Thank you.
Wear your masks.
Bye.
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 So I'm the meeting mom.
Oh, that was good. Wait, take care. Me and Miss Kristen are just going to talk a little. Thanks for coming.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Julie.
Thank
Bye.
you. How'd you like it?
I really liked it.
Oh, good. Have you seen anybody else's shows yet?
No, I haven't. We've only had, I think, maybe one or two others for like a really little, like, you know, the little small,
Right. Yeah. So, yeah. If you look at the other cooking shows, they don't talk to the kids. So,
Yeah, that's not, you know, they know you, they want to interact with you.
yes, that's what the difference was. So, I mean, that's how I'm selling it. Everybody wants these videotapes, but I don't think I'm going to do it. It's because it's not what I want out there. It's not who I am. So, spread the word. Tell the other librarians. I mean, they're catching on. I'm like, I got swamped this week because everyone's trying to plan. Now they know, you know, they need something for the summer. So it's like every day 3 librarians are calling me, and I'm just trying. You know me. I'm not good with the